what we want to talk about today is selecting a consultant. Okay. A lot of people throw around this crap about, oh, I'm a safety consultant, or I want to be a safety consultant, or I'm looking for a safety consultant. And I guess, what is the wisdom surrounding safety consultants? Because you and I both know that we do consulting, and
Right.
so what is your take on all this?
Well, hardly a month goes by that I don't have some safety professional that contacts me about wanting to start their own safety consulting business, or I get some solicitation from someone on LinkedIn about advice and maybe changing careers and getting into consulting, or from a company looking for a consultant. And right prior to this episode, I just typed in safety consultant into Google, and we come back with 301 million hits. So, there's a lot of information out there. It can be very confusing. And particularly if you are wanting to get into consulting, or you're choosing a consulting, if you go about this in an improper manner, or in a manner that is not set up for success, you could actually do damage to not only the organization, but to your reputation professionally. So
Right.
I thought, since we're kind of coming out of Thanksgiving, that this might be a good time for you and I, as consultants, have been doing this a long time, to offer some advice to professionals who are either wanting to get into consulting, or to companies choosing a professional consultant, because not all consultants are built alike.
Amen. Amen. I get a lot of these reach outs also about becoming a safety consultant. And most of the people that reach out to me are young professionals, new professionals, people getting into the field. They see that there's a lot of money to be made in consulting. They want, it's, I can kind of say it's fun, right? At least for me, as somebody who takes different jobs. But one of the best pieces of advice that I can give is that if you're looking to be a consultant of any kind, whether it's safety or business or executive coaching or whatever, the first thing you need to do is be patient, and you need to learn your craft. Okay? Don't think you're going to come out of school with a degree in safety, or come out of a 3-year job at Amazon or one of these bigger companies, and all of a sudden you're going to have the skill set that it takes to be a consultant, because it takes a long time to learn a lot of things, which I believe a consultant needs to have in their wheelhouse, or they need to have a breadth of friends that they can call on in order to help them with projects. So that's my advice, right? And then not a lot of people want to hear that. Okay, they don't want to hear, take your time.
Well, I understand why. When you think about opening a consulting business, or putting your shield out there for people to know that you're available, that usually comes from some great passion that you have, and it's not entirely driven by monetary means. And we all want to get to the end goal as quickly as possible. And I agree with you. A lot of young professionals come to me and they talk and they say, hey, man, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, if I told you my life story, I'm not sure you want to go through all the rough road that we went down. Everybody thinks, it's all downhill, but it's not. So to kind of echo what your comments were earlier, as a consultant, I think the first thing you need to have is expertise.
Yep.
You need to have expertise in the field in which you're trying to practice. So how do I get that expertise? Well, certainly there's the academic route, and academics needs to be part of it. If I am a company seeking a consultant, I want to know what their academic background is. Not necessarily maybe formal education, university, college degree, that kind of thing, to the exclusion of all the other education that's out there in the safety field. But I want to make sure that these people are qualified to go out, and the advice they're going to give me is the best advice that they could have. So for companies that are selecting a consultant, you need to do some background on what this consultant or the consulting firm, either or, what their expertise is, and can they prove it?
Right, right. And part of that proof, I mean, quite honestly, when you get a degree, and I got this from a professor a long time ago, and my initial degree is in geology, and he said, if you think you're going to get out of school and you're going to be a geologist, forget it. You're going to be trainable. Okay.
Right.
And that's not to be, I don't think he meant that in, any way other than you must constantly strive to find more skill sets beyond what your college education can give you. So to your point, right, to your point about does this person have the skill set, they should have pursued professional development along the lines of what they're looking at. If they're telling you they're an auditor, they should have an auditor certification. If they're telling you that they do process safety management, they should be skilled in that. They should be able to prove that experience, because the last thing you want to do as a consultant is put your shingle out, have somebody call you to do something, say yes, and then not know how to do it. Because ethically, that's not the right thing to do. And it also goes against any certifications that you have, like your CSP or your CIH, that
Right.
one of the things that they say all the time is do not take jobs that you're not qualified to do.
And that's hard to do if you are in a financial strain,
Yeah.
trying to operate a consulting business. I also think that kind of brings up maybe my second point in choosing a consultant is, if you're going to be a consultant, have a variety of solutions that you offer to clients. So many times what I run into, particularly in the oil and gas industry, are trainers that want to establish a consulting firm. Been down this road for many years, and you need a diverse set of offerings beyond just training. Training is a good place to start. All companies need training from a continuous improvement standpoint and from a regulatory standpoint. But if all you offer is training, you're limiting yourself into what the needs of the organization has. So are you good in hazard identification? Are you good in technical writing? Are you well versed in the particular standards that apply to that industry? How about industry best practices? Can you help an organization from a holistic standpoint? What's your philosophies on safety management? What's your philosophies on incident and accident investigation and corrective action? And then you get into, hey, if something really bad happens, what's your experience, education, knowledge when it comes to the legal aspects of occupational safety and health? So if I am wanting to be a safety consultant, then yes, there could be an area that I specialize in, but I need to have some general knowledge of all these different areas to create a holistic approach for my clients. What say you?
I look at people who want to get into consulting from like the training business or whatever. They certainly have skills that they can parlay into the things that they train in, but they're not necessarily technical writers, and they're not necessarily critical thinkers when it comes to looking at a site. And so, often when I'm executive coaching people in the safety field, I will say, okay, look, sometimes you need to give a little bit to get. You need to sit under a safety consultant and learn some of those things that you're weak in, right? And you might have to do it for free, or you might have to do it for a low amount of money, but you learn that.
I have lived that life, and that's why I kind of refer to in the earlier points of our conversation. And it's not always been easy, and it's still not easy. But you need to be diverse, one, to give holistic offerings for your clients, and two, to provide additional revenue streams for you, because particularly in the oil and gas industry, the market's up, the market's down. People are hiring, people are laying folks off. I used to say it like this to my budding instructors that go through Bear Force's trainer. You have a job, you don't have a job. You have a truck, you don't have a truck. You have a house, you're in foreclosure. That's the oil and gas industry, right?
Yep.
So when we started our consulting company, we wanted to be diverse across all industries because oil and gas is so cyclical, and you can't
Right.
have all your eggs in one basket. So it's really a twofold approach: one for the benefit of the client, one for the benefit of yourself in your consulting business. So
Yeah.
many consultants fail because they're only focused in one area of expertise. So if I'm only in training and I only do awareness level training, new hire training, orientation training, that gets you off to a rough start. You may make a bunch of money when the economy's doing great, but as soon as the economy slips, and usually it comes with no warning,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you're in a bind.
Yeah.
The second part of that, I think, if I'm thinking about becoming a consultant, think about who you know, right? Who do I know that can help me? What are the other resources that I have? I'm not an industrial hygienist, although we can offer those services. Why? Because I know an industrial hygienist, one of the best industrial hygienists on this planet. Impact
The
Award
planet?
winner, right? Board member over there. So I have resources to reach out to. So develop you some friends, some resources that you can call on to supplement where you may be weak, or where you can get coaching to make sure you're providing good expertise to whoever you're consulting with.